Question for you. Irrevocable trust, revocable trust. What's the difference? Which one do I need? If you're trying to do estate planning that just simply wants to avoid having your family go through the arduous process of 6 months in court of public record, that means you need a revocable living trust because it keeps everything private and keeps you out of the court system. There are some advantages to revocable living trust where you can also leave assets, inheritance in other words, to people who would otherwise be taxed. So let's say you have a partner, but you're not married. In Kentucky, that means there's going to be about a 16% tax on everything you leave them. If you use a revocable living trust, you avoid that. On the other hand, if you have a very large estate, which right now would be in the $24 million range between you and a spouse, then you're going to need a revocable living trust to help you through that process. Otherwise, most of us are talking about needing irrevocable trusts, and that helps us with asset protection, preservation, and obtaining long-term care benefits through the Medicaid program without having to spend that money. We get tied up on the idea of revocable or irrevocable. Either kind of trust can be revoked. There are terms and conditions, even in statute, that allow us to unwind things. So don't let that catch you up. Really, those terms have more to do with accessibility than anything else. And that just means, do you have to have a third party, like one of your children, that is in charge of the trust? Or do you maintain control of the trust yourself? The trust is still going to be available to you for things you need. That's the way a trust in all of its details makes provision for use of the money. That's how you determine what you need. What's your goal? And whatever that goal is, avoiding probate, perhaps avoiding some taxes, you go one direction. If it's governmental benefits and protections, you go the other direction in irrevocable trust. Come to our next webinar. We're going to talk about this in depth. Hope to see you there.